Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, you champions? Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Uniform Mike Papa, the Unapologetic Man Podcast. I sincerely appreciate you joining me today. And I want to give you something that's of huge value because this is probably one of the biggest reasons guys struggle to get attraction with women and maintain attraction with women. And that is polarity. Polarity, gentlemen. What does polar mean? Think about it. The polar ice caps are on opposite sides of the world, are they not? Polarity means opposites, two different sides of a similar energy frequency, which we're going to talk about in this episode, where there's tension between them two. So if you don't have polarity with women, basically meaning the masculine and the feminine, and there being like a ton of tension between the two because you guys are so far apart, you're not going to get attraction. And this is a huge problem in today's world because of the mass pussification of the American, British, Australian, Canadian male, as well as all other males throughout the world listening to this. Society is trying to make us feel guilty for being men. And that's exactly why I named this the Unapologetic Man Podcast, is because I want you to feel happy about being a man. I want you to be appreciative for being a man. And I want you to step into your masculinity so that women can get more attracted to you. The more you're in your masculinity and the more she's in her femininity, you can imagine a rubber band between you two. And the more you guys move further and further apart, the more attraction there's going to be. The closer you guys are together, meaning the mass pussification of the American, British, Australian, and Canadian male, and unfortunately the mass masculinity of the female, the closer you guys are standing together and the less polarity there is between you, the less tension there is between you. If you guys have ever felt sexual tension with a woman, what was that? That was you being highly masculine and her being highly feminine. And then there's that tension between you two, which results in sexual attraction. So if you're not creating polarity with the women you're speaking to, with the women you're dating, you're not creating attraction. So we're going to talk about all the ways that we can create polarity. And also we're going to talk about how women are struggling to create polarity from their side and what we can do to help them get into their feminine, get into their polar opposite of the masculine so that there's more sexual attraction developed and the sex is a lot better too. When you're highly in your masculine and she's highly in her feminine, that is the best sex you can possibly have. A lot of us think that the best sex is going to come from a girl being hot, but a lot of you guys can attest to this. You may have been with a Canyon mule or a sea donkey who wasn't that physically attractive, but she was super feminine and you were super masculine and the sex was just bomb.com. That's because you guys had polarity between you. So we're going to get into that today. I'm going to teach you how to become more masculine, which is one of my favorite things to talk about on this podcast, and how to get her into her femininity so that she acquiesces, goes into that femininity by choice, and then you guys are going to have not only good attraction, but also good sexual chemistry, which of course means really good sex. Before I jump into the content, gentlemen, have to read yet another testimonial for my 3-month coaching program. I haven't read any reviews in a long time because I feel like I inundate you guys too much with it. But if I look at my desktop right now, I have at least 25 that have yet to be read. They come in via email practically every day, if not every other day. I take screenshots of it and then we eventually add it to the website for you guys to check out. That's why I have so many damn reviews on my websites, because they just keep coming in. Why? Because my shit works. You know, there's no other way to say it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. NLP works, neuro-linguistic programming. I fix what's going on inside the heads of my clients rather than just working on things like, here's what you say, here's what you text, which is also important. But dude, unless you're addressing this, and I'm pointing at my head right now if you're watching me on video, unless you're addressing what's going on inside your head, you're not going to get results. And this is partially why guys don't get results, even though they've studied this stuff for sometimes even years. You know, they've studied it, they know all the techniques, they've memorized it, and they still get the same results. If that's you, it's probably what's going on inside your head. So this is from Mike. What is up, Mike? Really appreciate this review. He says, "Hi, Mark. When I came into the program, I just learned I was autistic and my confidence took a crap on itself. I needed a way to get better with women and bring myself back to where I needed to be. You helped me get back on my feet. Not only am I seeing success, but also feeling like this course led to my dream job. I realized how much I love psychology and NLP, and I want to do that to help others. He's going to become a therapist. It's been an amazing time working with you, Mark. You didn't just help me with women, but you fixed my confidence issues and made me see myself for who I am. I'm autistic, and I've grown to love it. I see myself now as a champion, and no matter what comes, I can handle it. You helped me get over my hurt with my ex that dumped and left me for someone else, and also my ex I was wanting to return to and outright dumped her for good this time. This world is my ocean, and my ocean is full of cute women. I've never talked to so many cute women in my life, and making a table full of women who had zero attraction to me all of a sudden nearly grasping my arm for attention. It is absolutely amazing. I'll be just fine now. I'm going to tell others of your course. Thanks for the help, Mark, and thanks for the chance you chose to take on me. You're absolutely welcome, Mike. You are a goddamn champion. We just had to, again, fix the stuff inside your head so that you could realize that you are indeed a champion. Autistic, short, bald, fat, Indian, Asian, whatever excuse you guys are making, it's all inside your head, man. If you don't buy into it, if you reframe it and say, yeah, dude, I am a fucking champion. Why? Because I fixed what's going on inside my head and now I can see myself as a champion. When you see yourself that way, you behave that way. And women's attraction is all based on your behavior. So once we fix what's going on inside, your behavior changes, women react to you differently, and they're going to be like Mike where, yeah, he's autistic. Yeah, he was a little awkward when he first came into the course, but it doesn't matter because he wholeheartedly believes in himself now. He gets girls attracted to him, and that's the way it works. He also understood that he had to step into his masculinity, and that is such a major problem in today's age where guys feel guilty for being masculine. They try to suppress it. They go into feminine habits because that's what society is telling them to do, and then they don't get attraction from women. So first of all, we're going to talk about masculinity. What are the core tenets of masculinity? First of all, you don't give a rat's ass what people think of you. All right, we drop that shit completely. Secondly, we go towards our goals like a goddamn Spartan. We go after it with the towards mentality. I see my goal, I'm going to achieve it, and nothing is going to stop me. Thirdly, we step away from fear. Fear is an away from mentality. I'm scared of what might happen. I'm scared of that tiger chasing me, and I'm constantly looking behind me. That is feminine. Masculinity looks forward. It doesn't look behind it. That is why your windshield is big and your rearview mirror is small, is because you should only be looking behind you about 5% of the time. You should be aware of the dangers, but not focused on them. So one thing, boys, and this is a problem that I've had, if you have a lot of anxiety, if you have a lot of stress, that's feminine. You have too much away from. Stress is being here, but wanting to be there, or stressing about what might happen in the future and not being present and looking towards your goals and just going after it with a voracious appetite. Why is it that warriors can step into battle with a full heart and not be terrified at all? It's because they get highly into their testosterone. When you're highly in your testosterone, you cannot feel fear. And that's so important. I want to repeat that. When you're highly in your testosterone, you cannot feel fear. So masculinity is going for your goals, going towards the numbers, stepping into your testosterone and thus overcoming fear, and caring more about what you think about yourself than what other people think about you. A lot of us fear rejection because we're in our feminine energy. We care so much about external validation that we actually expect that woman to validate us, which is a feminine energy. What do women want? Validation. That's why they do their hair and they post on Instagram and they wear cute outfits and they spend all this time on their makeup. They want validation, which is feminine. So fear of rejection comes from a feminine place where you want validation because you're not internally validated. Masculinity is internally validated. Think about the most masculine dude you know. I can guarantee you that dude probably doesn't give two shits what people think of him. He thinks that he's the shit. He walks with confidence. He is a fucking man and he makes no apologies for it. That's the space we want to get into because when she's in her feminine, it's that rubber band between two opposite energy polarities. And that's why this is called polarity. You highly in your masculine, standing in one side of the end zone, or for you English chaps listening, on one side of the pitch, and she's standing in the other end zone or the other side of the pitch, and there's tension between you two, like a rubber band going across. So how do we get into our masculine? All right, it's a simple choice. You are a man. You were born with testicles. You literally are producing testosterone down in your testicles on a day-to-day basis. And the way you behave, the way your diet is, the way you sleep, all these things contribute to how much testosterone is produced in your testes and how much you can step into that masculine energy. The more testosterone, the more masculinity, the more women get attracted to you. That is literally how it works. So from a very practical level, simple things, improving your diet, cutting out sugars, cutting out simple carbohydrates like breads and pastas, getting as much sleep as you possibly can. Gentlemen, I cannot express how important this is. I've been watching this dude, Brian Johnson. He's doing a study on trying to make himself reverse his aging. It's really cool. You guys check it out. And Brian is spelled with a Y, Brian Johnson. He's reversing his aging systematically. And the one thing he says, the most important thing to reverse your aging or to slow down your aging, or in this case, to up your testosterone, is sleep. 8 hours of sleep, and I don't care what you say to me, that is what most humans need. How do I know this is true? I've read books upon books about the topic, and they say to a book that 95% of people need 8 hours of sleep. I understand some of you have different situations. I understand you might have a specific body type or a specific disease or whatever it is that doesn't allow you to sleep 8 hours, but for the majority of you listening, you need 8 hours of sleep. One of the biggest things that I did to change my sleep was to cut out caffeine. Now, for me personally, I cut out caffeine completely, but at the very least, you want to have a caffeine curfew, which means you stop drinking caffeine roughly around 2 p.m. at the latest, preferably before that. Caffeine has a really long half-life. So if you have a cup of coffee, which I think, and don't quote me on this, is like 80 milligrams of caffeine, I think, and again, I really should have looked this up, but I'm just winging it here. I think it has a half-life of like 8 hours. So half of it goes away in X many hours. Then it takes X many hours more for that other half to go away. And when you go to sleep, there's still some in your system. I found being off caffeine for about 14 days now, I'm sleeping so much better, so much better. So let's look at your sleep. Let's look at your diet. Let's look at exercise, boys. Exercise is super important. Now, the fourth thing we want to look at, and you guys are all doing this, I'm proud of you, is getting girls. Nothing puts a man more in his masculine energy. Nothing puts his brain down there in his testicles like going to get chicks. When you talk to a hot girl, it has been scientifically proven that your testosterone goes up and up and up. And when you're talking to multiple women a week, dating them, texting them, having lots of sex, your testosterone's going through the roof. When your testosterone goes up, women get more attracted to you. And this too is responsible for the snowball effect that all my clients get to experience, where once you start getting a couple chicks, then it's just a snowball, man. 2 chicks equals 4 chicks equals 8 chicks equals 16, 32, 165,000 girls that you're fucking talking to, because it's literally exponential. And the reason that is because when you start getting in your testosterone, you're getting that polarity between you and the feminine. Now you get more girls, which makes you have more testosterone, more polarity, more masculinity. You stop giving a shit, which, don't forget, is a big part of being masculine. You start going after the numbers, which, don't forget, is a big part of being masculine. And then suddenly you have all these girls in your life. Now you're getting all the success, you get even more masculine, and it's a perpetuation upon itself, a snowball, as it were, rolling down the mountain. So we go after our goals, we're towards oriented, we don't buy into fear, we work out, we eat right, we exercise, we go after girls, and most importantly, gentlemen, as I talked about on my previous episode, stop the negative thinking about yourself. Do you know what that is? It's feminine, insulting yourself, feeling insecure. Now, you may say, well, wait, femininity seems to have all these bad things, right? It's like fear-based, it's anxiety-based, it talks shit about itself. When in the male psyche, femininity in the carburetor of a woman, which is where it was designed to be processed, is beautiful, it's nurturing, it's loving, it listens, it's present. It is the divine feminine itself, and it works best in a woman. It does not work best in you. So when you have a lot of estrogen inside of you, which, by the way, boys, body fat creates high estrogen. So one of the most important things you can do is just lose the body fat on top of getting sleep. That alone is going to change your life. But body fat creates estrogen, creates a lot of fear, anxiety, makes women less attracted to us, doesn't make us as goal-oriented, and it creates dysfunctions in our body that make us feel like shit. A lot of depression, and I'm not saying all depression now, a lot of depression is caused by a wrong balance of testosterone and estrogen inside your body. Too much estrogen inside a man, too much testosterone inside a woman. And this is what's happening in today's society for a myriad of reasons, which creates all these issues. One of which is men's inability to get women attracted to them. So what's the solution? I've been telling you, get into your masculine energy, however the fuck you have to do it, but including coming into my program. I've told you guys many times that when guys come into my 3-month coaching program, as Mike did, they get their testosterone checked both before and after. It goes up exponentially. Why? First of all, we're doing NLP, putting you highly into your masculine energy as far as your psychology is concerned. Secondly, we're approaching girls. We have goals we set. We have accountability in the brotherhood. You're with an army of other men who are fighting shoulder to shoulder with you in the trenches. That shit gets the testosterone up, gets the masculinity up, polarity. So now we get to the next phase, which is dealing with women. What does the masculine do when he's dealing with women? He leads the interaction. Okay, he's the one who picks her up on the first date. Yes, he pays for the first date. He leads her into a great experience. He leads the conversation into good feelings for her. If she brings up some stuff that is not conducive to attraction or is boring, he'll change the topic. He's willing to be somewhat disagreeable with her. If she frame checks him, which means she questions him, he flips it around on her. Such as she's like, why don't you have a girlfriend? I don't understand. You're on the dating apps. You're a good looking guy. Why don't you have a girlfriend? You say, oh, it's because I'm a horrible kisser. I do the jackhammer tongue maneuver, the helicopter tongue maneuver, and I lick girls' faces like a dog up and down. And for some reason, they don't like it. No, real talk. The reason is I haven't found her yet. You know, I've actually been talking to quite a lot of girls and I just haven't met a girl that I've jived yet. The real question is, why don't you have a boyfriend? I bet it's because you too are a bad kisser, huh? See how I was able to reframe that conversation where she challenges me. And again, it depends on how she asks the question. But if she challenges me, I flip it on her. If she calls me gay, I say, yeah, I'm so gay. I sucked 200,000 dicks yesterday. My jaw is killing me right now. She says that you're an idiot. You say, I'm so dumb. Man, I can't even remember my last name half the time. It's amazing that I even remember your name, which was Dynasty, wasn't it? Oh no, it's Amy? Oh, I thought it was Dynasty. See, I'm such an idiot. So you're agreeing and amplifying, showing that you're internally validated, which is masculine. You don't care what she thinks. You don't need her validation. So during the first date, you're leading the date itself. You're leading the conversation. You pay for things as a man does. You take her into a good experience and you're completely unapologetic and unexplanatory, meaning explaining yourself about who you really are. Now that begs the question, what if she doesn't go into her feminine? Well, here's what I've learned, okay, through my own experience. If she refuses to go into her feminine, and a lot of you guys have experienced this, where she wants to control the date, she wants to question you endlessly, frame check you endlessly. She wants to ask you for favors. She wants to basically control the interaction and she won't let go. If you fight her, quote unquote, fight her for long enough on it, eventually she's going to go into her feminine. And many times, boys, they go deep into their feminine and thank you afterwards for doing so. I have had girls fight me tooth and nail for literally weeks. And because they were so hot, I stuck in there and I was like, dude, I'm not going to fucking lose this war. She will not get the masculine energy. I'm going to get it. And once I got it, she went whoop all the way into her feminine. Other side of the football field, there's a tension between us that's almost palpable. And then the sex was just like butt naked monkey ass sex on the hood of my car off the side of the freeway because there was so much damn attraction. So if a woman fights you on it, you have to win the battle. Remember, boys, control in the frame. The person who wants less is the one who's in control, not to be fucked with, not caring about what she thinks of you, not trying to get rapport with her, leading her. If she likes it, cool. If she doesn't, then kick rocks with your head down. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, because you're out like sauerkraut, you're off like a prom dress. That's the philosophy. Now, many times she'll go into her feminine naturally, but if she refuses to do so, what do? You say exactly what I just said. Kick rocks with your head down. You're not going into your feminine and I'm sick of it. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. How much time do I give the girl? Depends on how hot she is, right? We're dudes here. We're all going to be honest with each other. It depends. But if I really like the girl, I feel like we click, I'll give her a couple weeks. And I might even tell her, hey, you are fighting for the masculine role this whole time. Why is that? What is it that happened in your childhood? What is it that happened in your history where you feel like you have to be in the masculine role? This is the way it's going to work. I'm going to lead it. If you want to follow, cool. If you don't, there's the door. And that's what you tell her, letting her know you're not to be fucked with. It's your way or the highway. When you do that, 90% of the time, she's going to be like, oh my God, this is so hot. And I have had woman after woman after woman tell me, when you took control, when you refused to give me that control, it turned me on so much I didn't know what to do with myself. There was literally a snail trail running down my leg because you did that. This is what women want, whether or not they know it consciously. And when a woman is willing to go deeply into her feminine and you are able to go deeply into your masculine, oh my hell, the sex is so goddamn good. It's going to blow your mind when you guys get to that position. So what can you do? I just told you, man. Get into your masculine. I have tons of episodes about how to have frame control, how to lead the interaction, what to do when she checks you, what to do when she asks you for requests, as well as wanting less than she wants, which is what I call the 80-100 rule. You do all that, 90% of the time she's going to go naturally into her feminine. And if she doesn't, then you call her out on it. Hey, what's going on with this? Why are you constantly fighting for control? What's going on? You talk to her. That doesn't get her. Then she's off like a prom dress. You flicker away like a flea off your steak that you're eating at night because you're a goddamn fucking man and you're high testosterone. So boys, first of all, when you close out this episode, I want you to make a simple choice. I am going to be more masculine. How am I going to do it? It'll be shown to me, but I'll remember some of the things that Mark said. And perhaps I'll even invest in myself and join the brotherhood where I literally believe, gentlemen, the second you make that commitment, we're like, hey, I'm going to change for the better. That's so masculine. And immediately your testosterone spikes. This is why over half the time when clients simply join my program, I get an email from them 3 days later that's like, I haven't even really learned anything from you yet. We haven't officially started. And I got laid last night. What the literal fuck? I haven't been laid in 6 months. And I always say it's the intention of starting something, going into something scary that ramps up your testosterone, ramps up your masculinity. Women feel that from you. They feel the excitement of you about to start this new journey and they get attracted to you. And again, it doesn't matter how tall you are, how bald you are, how thick your glasses are. I've heard all the excuses. They're all bullshit. Let me get my hands on you. Let us ramp up your testosterone, ramp up your masculinity, teach you all the methods that we teach and fix what's going on inside your head. You're going to be a girl magnet. I don't care where you're starting from. It works every single time on every single guy we work with. So if you want to come join us and even just talk about the possibility of working with us, click the link in the description below or go to my website, CoachMarkSing.com. Click on coaching, fill in the quick application. Because I want masculine men, I demand that you reply to my emails within 24 hours. If you don't, you're going to be dropped from consideration. You reply to all my emails in 24 hours and I, of course, get back to you usually within 12 hours. You and I are going to email back and forth. And if it feels good, you're going to get on a call with my boy, Victor Lynch, a non-pressure NLP session to see if we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us. And if you come into the program, man, buy that bulk pack of condoms from Costco. You're about to need them. Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, so please stay tuned for the next one and I will see you in the next episode.